Sadistic Penguin Studios presents the At the Show podcast with Tom Yumper Garcia.
Okay, you people sit tight, hold the fort, and keep the home fires burning. And if we're not back by dawn, call the president.
And Tony Chalsa Barrett.
I don't know this industry jargon, YP, MP, whatever, okay? All I know is that I cannot get a record contract. We cannot get a record contract unless I take these tapes.
It's almost time, so grab a drink, get your popcorn ready, and join the film discussion with two guys from Chicago talking movies.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the At the Show podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Tom Yumper Garcia, and I'm with my other co-host, Tony the Sugar Baggy Burt. How you doing, my man?
Doing good, doing good. Let me ask you a question real quick. You ever have a dog that is addicted to treats? How do you cure this disease? Because it sounds like a horror movie I'm living in over here. My dog, they're little treats, but giving if she doesn't have her 6 or 7 treats, she does not stop. And Katie starts this, oh, here's a treat to get out of here, because it's been going on. And just a little while ago, we tried to eat dinner and put her in the bathroom, and she's just barking in there for her treats. Ever have that happen to a
dog? I'm lucky that my current dog does not bark. He begs, but he just sits and stares at you.
Oh, good. That's good.
My previous dog, now he barked the whole time we ate dinner. My father-in-law, we call him the dog whisperer of Tinley Park. He comes by with treats all the time. He has them in his pockets, and my dog already knows. So he starts smelling his pockets.
I like that.
So that. Yeah, he's a treat master. He always comes over here with treats. But
I just feel like I'm living in a sequel to Man's Best Friend with Lance Henriksen. But
he's gonna attack the mailman.
But how you doing tonight?
I'm doing, man. It's been a long month. This is probably. I know work's been drastic for both of us. Usually this is our most busiest month in terms of content production.
You
got 2
pods. Those videos.
Yeah, I've been knocking out those videos. I have one that I recorded voiceover for earlier. I'm gonna be putting out tonight after our show. It's gotta finish editing, and this one is it's a particular video that's pretty crazy for a movie that not too many people know about.
Pretty cool.
It's a ridiculous film. Put it that way.
Very cool.
But everything's been good now, besides work and I guess
Halloween's right around the corner. I got it. If nothing else, that gives me a lot of hope and promise. I love Halloween. So, every night when you get home and you're sitting there, man, I've just been digging into a lot of Halloween flicks.
Yeah, actually, I've been watching more and more movies just to... Not for next year, just as I have been having an urge just to watch more and more horror films. And that's how I find the stuff that we put out. But I don't know, just more. This year's been more drastic, looking into stuff than ever. There's a lot of good things out there. There's stuff that wasn't released before that's now in streaming that it's kind of cool to kind of go back and look at.
Definitely, I definitely agree with that.
But yeah, Halloween's just around the corner next week. It's the 24th. We're on episode 28, I believe, of this season, not counting everything else we released. The year is flying by very quickly. We're finally in the cold fall weather. For all those people who are complaining about the hot summer weather, be ready to bundle up because your ass is going to be freezing in the next 2 months, and I don't want to hear no complaints about snow when it comes.
I used to think that I liked the cold more. I'm starting to feel like I like the hot more.
Yeah, man. I mean, the summer's the best.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is. It's very nice. It was very nice. Just weather. But when you're going out there just now, and I'm just going to walk to the mailbox, and you feel that brisk, not good.
Yes. But, we got a nice packed show for you. And we're going to be going into one of the best character actors there is that's still alive, that still performs. A very emotional guy, Mr. Brad Dourif, who... I love Brad Dourif. I realize every film he's in, he's either sweaty or he's really emotionally into it to where he's trembling.
He's into his roles.
He's very intense.
Every role that you could possibly get him in, I have not seen an untense. Brad Dourif.
He also such a sweetheart. Like watched some of his interviews, just such a sweetheart dude. But we'll be
Yeah,
going
I
into
mean,
8 of his
yeah,
films today.
yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, so we go into 8 of our favorite films dealing with him. Most of our films are surrounded around the Halloween genre or horror genre, but he's in a lot of other things too we can talk about after we give our films. But Tone, let's go into our first segment like we always do, my friend. Let's go into what we've been watching this week, my guy.
Let's do it.
That's a me. And also, what were you just watching?
Oh, am I here still? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're sorry. So what were you watching this week, my friend?
I've watched quite a few movies this week, but the two let's talk about tonight is first I'm going to start with Bones, Snoop Dogg flick. And I was scrolling through the movies like you were talking about, trying to see something I haven't seen before. And now I've been to a lot of used DVD stores, a lot of just pawn shops. I've seen a lot of I always see Bones a lot of places, and I'm always like, what is this movie? Is it any good? So I actually looked it up yesterday, and I was reading, and it compared it to like the third Nightmare on Elm Street, and it compared it to some other things, and it says, well, if you like to have a good time, check this movie out. And I checked out the director, and he directed Juice. I love Juice. So I'm like, okay, I'll watch this. Katie watched it too, and it was ridiculous. A ridiculous good time, though. I'm not going to say it was. I did not have fun. I think Snoop Dogg did a pretty good job for what he was called upon to do in this movie, and it is what it is. It's just ridiculous. Oh, there she is right there. Bones was surprisingly good and funny.
Jimmy Bones.
There you go. Thank you, honey.
I would say he's a better horror actor than Ice-T in Leprechaun.
No.
But no, Bones is a good. It's not a great film, but it's entertaining.
Yeah.
And I think
I
that's
like
what's supposed to
Clifton
be.
Powell. I like Clifton Powell as the dad because I was telling Katie I laughed so hard last night when the son brings him down to where he's been building that studio, and he's like, "You kidding me? Is this some kind of joke?" And he's like, "No, Dad, I want to build this place." It was just really hilarious. I love Clifton Powell, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's a fun film. If you haven't seen it, check it out. This is kind of in like the era where a lot more like rap stars and like singers and like we're getting into films. I mean, this was after this. I think like Paris Hilton was even in like House of Wax, and then you had
That's true.
Eve was in a film. I think.
Yeah, wasn't it Queen? And then you had Queen of the Damned.
Yeah, Queen of the Damned, Aaliyah.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be the Interview with a Vampire sequel. So I mean, they're just like the more famous their songs they got put into horror films. I mean, even I just did a video for Idle Hands, and I totally forgot that the Offspring were in that film.
Huh?
And the lead singer gets his head ripped off, which I thought was hilarious.
It's a great movie. Really
yeah.
good movie. The second movie I watched was Nightmare on Elm Street 2, which is a very unique entry into the catalog. I don't know when the last time you've watched this movie. Like there's like a scene when the gym teacher, who I can't help but laugh because he also plays the dad in Stand By Me, who's like a jerk. And he's also, I believe, in Total Recall, the guy with the thing in its stomach. But in this movie, though, he's like the gym teacher who's into S&M clubs at night. So like there's this, I've read a lot of articles about where they feel like there's a lot of weird undertones in this movie.
Coach Schneider.
And Coach Schneider takes a couple towel whips to the behind, and I just thought that was kind of ridiculous for a Freddy movie. But I still enjoy this movie. I think there's some pretty good stuff by Freddy in here, and I'm actually more into Freddy now than I think I ever have been. If you would have asked me back in 8th grade, I would have told you Michael Myers was the coolest and nobody could be cooler. Now I'm starting to lean towards other people more, just because for a lot of different reasons. But this is just, I think, an okay entry. What do you think about the second Nightmare on Elm Street?
I don't mind it. It's a different take on the Nightmare on the series from the original. Robert Englund, I think I watched a interview with him. He said that he loves the way Freddy looks in this film, and Freddy looks like a lot really more darker. I think after this, he kind of lightens up a little bit more. I mean, he's still Freddy, but in
Yeah.
terms of like his mannerisms and whatnot, he's more darker in this film until New Nightmare, I think, is when he reverts back to that. But this film does have a lot of undertones. I mean, there's a lot of homoerotic undertones in it. I think they call the lead actor in the film the Scream King,
Yeah, they did. It's
Jesse. So I mean, it's actually a really good film, to be honest. There's a lot of stuff that's pretty crazy when he rips out of people's bodies. He's basically becoming Freddy.
Oh yeah.
I actually like this film. It's not the one of my favorite scenes is when he goes to like the pool party and he starts killing people. It's like ridiculous. Um, so it has a lot of undertones, but I think that like I was reading, it's like due to it's had so many rewrites. But I mean, it doesn't bother me. It's just like a different flavor of Freddy, and I kind of like that they switched up things.
You know, I miss the days when you could go like in the early '90s, go to the video store and see the video boxes. Because if you're watching online here, the poster that I picked, that was like the original box you'd see, and it's really cool. And all the boxes for the Nightmare on Elm Streets are cool, but I just find it to be a very interesting character, Freddy. And you know, he does a good job in this movie, and I think everybody actually in the movie does a good job for what they're called to do. Even Coach, what'd you say, Schneider?
Yeah, Coach Snyder.
Ridiculous role. But that's what's funny about it. You know, I mean, me and Katie watched this and we're like laughing at some of this stuff because it's out there, but in almost a good way. So it's cool.
Yeah, it's definitely out there, man. But I highly recommend people to watch the original uh for Nightmare on Elm Streets before they get into the newer stuff, the 3, 4, 5. Like the first two, I think, are just different, so different from each other. And then that's 3,
I
4,
will
5 kind of go into the same kind of like follow the same formula a little bit.
No, don't please. We could get in a debate. No, we're not going to do that now. I love 3 a lot. 4, I'll agree, is a little bit, but 3 is really good.
No, I'm saying in terms of like 3 and 4 kind of are like they have the same characters from there, the Dream Warriors. Come
But
back
in
and
4,
forth.
what's cool about 3 is Patricia Arquette is the main girl, and then in 4 they get some. I don't want to call her a cheesy blonde, but they get somebody who plays the same character, but it's not her, which makes the movie. But it's crazy because the guy who directed 4 was Rennie Harlan, who goes on to direct like Cutthroat Island and all these other movies that end up tanking, but they wouldn't have given him all this money if he didn't direct that 4th Freddy movie. I actually do not I only had one movie on VHS that I had for a long time, horror when I was a kid, and it was Freddy 5. And all these kids would want to come over to my house to watch it. And for some reason, I got to watch it again because I just don't like Freddy 5. But I got
Freddy's dead, right?
No, that's Freddy 6, which is cheesy. Freddy 5's the
Is Freddy 5
dream.
is he the one? Oh, the Dream Child. That's the one with the
Yeah, Dream Child. There you go.
with the nun.
Where the video game, he even goes into the video game, which is
No,
kind of cool scene.
That's Freddy's Dead.
Oh, that is Freddy's Dead. You're right. It's with Breckenmeyer goes into the video game. You're right. 5
Dream
is
Child. Yeah, 5's a Dream Child.
5 is just very, to me, I don't know. I gotta watch it again though. But that being said, what have you been watching, my man?
So I went back to one of the classics. I went back to the film The Fog. I have to watch this every Halloween. It's one of my favorite John Carpenter films. Of course, John Carpenter, in my opinion, is the master of horror, the king of horror in terms of the way setting the genre. Even though he hasn't done anything in like, I don't know, it's almost 20 years. I still love John Carpenter. The Fog to me is one of the first movies I watched as a kid, and being the thing after. But it still creeps me out how like just the fog comes and they have the visuals of it, of having the pirates come and kill people. And then I love the opening of the old man telling the ghost story around the kids. And then of course you have Billy, Adriana Barbeau, or everybody calls her Billy. If you don't know, I'm talking about Creep Show. She's in Creep Show. Her name was Wilma, but everybody calls her Billy. She's awesome in the film, and I totally forgot that they were married at one time. That's why she was featured in a lot of his films. But what can you say about The Fog, man?
Oh, great movie. Great concept. I lived with somebody at Ball State, and he I only had like 4 DVDs, and one of them was The Fog. And he would just play these movies over and over. And I'd never seen The Fog before. And I'm shocked that it took me as long as like 2001 to see this movie, because it's up there with all the rest of Carpenter's stuff. I like the story more than anything. I mean, you talk about a cool story. The remake is really, really bad and cheesy, but this is really good.
Yeah, the remake is garbage.
Now, I'd watch it with you and have some laughs, but I'm just not going to say it's a good movie. But I'm okay with watching those type of movies. This movie, though, is different. It's a classic. As you said, the characters in which they're played, unfortunately, I just keep getting in my head. What's his name? Billy's husband in Creepshow. He's in this. What's the actor's name?
From
But he's
Creepshow,
like the
or
priest.
you mean,
He's the priest. He's the priest in this.
Father Malone?
Yes, his
Hal
mustache.
Holbrook.
Hal Holbrook's mustache in
Yeah.
this one is always. But like, there's just cool lighting in this movie. And honestly, the music, and it's John Carpenter. There's really not a lot you can say. Honestly, I can't even think of anything bad about this movie you could say.
Yeah, it's a lot of great, visuals, a lot of great atmosphere. I like the fact they don't show; they just give you like silhouettes of what's going on of the people in the fog, which I always thought was cool. And Tom Atkins apparently is in like every 70s and 80s like horror film where he's trying to get with the girl.
It's crazy how much he led, and then all of a sudden it's like, where did he go?
He was in Maniac Cop 2. He dies in that film though. But yeah, I watched The
Lethal
Fog.
Weapon?
Is he in Lethal Weapon? I don't know. Let me.
Is he the one who's his daughter, and that's who they're trying to go and find? And he's like, "You better go and find her." I could be wrong.
I can tell you.
I'm getting.
Yes, he is. He's Michael Hunsaker in Lethal Weapon.
Yeah. He's like the guy in the beginning who's like, because his daughter's the one that goes missing, and he's like telling, great actor. You can't. I wish in an alternate world you were like, let's do a Tom Atkins 5 and 5, because I'm sure he's got enough good movies to do something like 4 and 4, whatever good movies to do that. But he's great in The Fog, Halloween 3, But excellent pick, man.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. The second film I went with is a film that a lot of people talk about. It's actually Arnold Schwarzenegger's. I believe it might be his only horror film. Don't quote me on that. But it's one of the films I went to go see at the theaters. It came out around Christmas time, and I believe in like 1998, if I'm not mistaken. 1999. It came out in 1999. Now this film was like blown up. I remember it was on like WWE programming where they had Gabriel Bryan and Arnold Schwarzenegger on there promoting the film for End of Days. It was a cool premise where the devil comes back and he has to mate with a girl to create the Antichrist. It was also like the first time I seen Arnold Schwarzenegger die in a film. Spoiler alert, but it is almost 20 years old, 25 years old. But I liked End of Days. I like the premise of it. I like Kevin Pollak in the film. I like CCH Pounders in there. You also have Rob Steiger in there. It's just a unique film. I think Arnold tried something new, and I thought it wasn't the greatest, but it was entertaining to me. What do you think of End of Days?
I could never knock Arnold for going for it in this movie, because it's not, if there's anything to knock about the movie, it's definitely not him. It's none of the actors, actually. They're all good. It's, for me, if anything's wrong, it's like there's some altering to the script that could have made this movie one of the greatest of all time. But what we got isn't terrible. You know what I mean? It's Schwarzenegger. There's only one movie I've ever seen of Schwarzenegger's where and it's The Sixth Day. I've watched every other Schwarzenegger movie, and I can't think of one where I could say he's who he is and he comes to the show to play. And in this movie, we've talked about it at the end of the show, the soundtrack before. You got a pounding soundtrack. I am a huge Kevin Pollak fan. When Katie sees Kevin Pollak, she immediately brings up Grumpy Old Men. But I think of Usual Suspects, but he's great in anything that you got him in. So
Few Good Men.
Yeah, he's great in A Few Good Men. Having him as your partner in this movie, not bad. Gabriel Byrne, and then you don't even think about it until we're talking out loud that both of them are in The Usual Suspects.
Mhm.
and you say to yourself, "Wow," you know what I mean? But not terrible, not terrible.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely not terrible. It's not the greatest, but it's something different he tried. He also did a film, I believe, where I think it's called Maggie, where his daughter's turning into like
Mhm,
a zombie.
mhm.
And I don't really know if that's really considered a horror film. I guess it could be, but this is one of the ones I like kind of put him with, in terms of his first real big horror film. And then it was also really weird to see him die, even though he sacrifices himself. Um, and this is where, of course, we hear what was it, the 11:7 or the scripture, in 1,000 years have ended, the beast will be released from his prison. Uh, so I remember we were talking about this in class. I went to St. Rita, which is a Catholic school, and me and my buddy Antonio talked about this film all the time when we were talking about the scripture because we had the
Mm,
Bibles, of course, in there. And we asked our teacher about it all the time. He's like, "It's just a movie." He always tells us it's just a movie.
this
And we just wanted to hear if it was like if there's any background on it. He's like, "It's just a movie." That's what he always told us. But yeah, End of Days, man, check it out if you haven't seen it.
yeah, not bad. Not a bad movie, especially if you've never seen it.
Mhm.
Really, something different from Arnold.
Ryan, did you change your name to Stano Steamer?
Stanos Steamer. I love it.
So that's what we watched this week. Let's know what you watched over at the YouTubes. Check us out on Facebook at Sadistic Penguin Studios, Instagram at the show podcast, or over on the Blue Skies with Sadistic Penguin Studios. Fuck Twitter for now. But Tone, before we go in to our films with Mr. Brad Dourif, I just want to let everybody know that we have merch where we have some stuff that is related to the podcast. Also, it is not related. So we have some cool, fun stuff here. We have the Kukui shirt that got released today, which is the only thing scarier than the El Kukui is the chancla for all my Latino friends. We have the Killing It, Michael Myers, Jason, Leatherhead, Freddy shirt that's out for a limited time. Tequila ones, Resist ones, all stuff here. All stuff in this goes to our help with just paying the bills for keeping the website going, etc. So if you buy something, it goes there. For the Resist shirts, proceeds are going to go to the National Immigration Justice Center. So if you buy something there, I will put that towards that when we stop selling them, which will probably be in a couple months. So be sure to check us out at sadisticpenguins.printify.me. That's sadisticpenguin.printify.me. Or if you're lazy, you can just scan the QR code on the screen right now. If you're listening on the audio portion, we'll drop a link in the description. I think it's already there. Also, I have a dog thingy too that says I do what I want when you're not looking. A lot of this stuff is goes on my Etsy store, so that's why I just connected it so you guys can get that thing too if you want it. But yeah, check this stuff out. This helps to support the pod, and we also have our stickers for our personal pods, such as the hookup on music, and our Sadistic Penguin Studios shirt and pod, and then a bunch of parody movie ones. So be sure to check that out. And if you guys want anything, let us know in terms of what you guys want anything in the future.
Awesome. Very cool.
But with that, Mr. Tone, do you have anything for news and rumors?
Not a whole lot. I just I'm really, like I said, excited to dig into these Brad Dourif movies. And before we do that, what was I gonna say? Any new trailers coming out? What's coming out soon? Anything that you've seen that's coming out in the next couple months that you're gonna go to the movies and see, or do you think there's nothing more really this year that's coming out?
So I want to see the new Running Man.
Yeah, I go with that.
I really want to see that. To be honest with you, there's a Depeche Mode documentary coming out on Thursday. Oh man, Joey P comes in the live chat right when I'm talking about the Depeche Mode documentary. It's coming out on Thursday. That came out on Thursday. I really, really want to see that, but unfortunately, I can't when it's in theaters. But that's something that looks really, really good. Joey's actually going to go see it with his awesome wife, Sandra. So maybe we can get him to talk about it.
Very cool.
But yeah, that's coming out. And I want to see the new Guillermo del Toro. Uh, he said he'll be there. Depeche Mode, baby. I really want to see the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein. What about you?
Those all sound like really, really good movies. Just this past today, actually, Weapons dropped on HBO.
Mhm.
Gonna watch that again this week. Definitely a good horror movie to dig into if you missed that one this year. Just honestly, honestly, when I get off of this, I'm probably gonna put on the Lost Boys. You know,
Oh, nice.
you can't ever go wrong with the Lost Boys. You can't.
No. It's Halloween staple. Do you want? Brian says he wants to see the Springsteen flick. There's been a lot of I guess not documentary biography films coming out for music stars recently.
My problem with the Springsteen flick is that like there isn't a whole lot. Like, what's the surprise in the movie? Like, if me and you were in a room and you were like, Tony, tell me the movie and then we'll go see it and I'll see if you're right. Like, everything you tell me, I won't read nothing. That's the problem. Like, I don't like movies where I pay and I already know everything that happens without reading it. Like, if I read it, that's different. But if I know the story and there isn't anything really to the Springsteen story besides, I mean, we'll see. We'll have to happen to see.
To be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of Springsteen's music.
And I am. I own all his albums. It's more of also I heard the fact that Jeremy Allen White's like, couldn't they get somebody at least 5 inches closer to Springsteen's actual height? But it's different. It's different.
Like the Selena, is that a bad ending? Like the Selena movie? No, it can't be that.
There's a lot of sadness though in this new movie though. It's not like a rocking. It's like him going through going through some mental struggles because he's somebody who's made it to the top. So like we haven't made it to the top yet. So if we did, would we have those struggles? Probably not. But he had the struggles, so let's pay to go see. I mean, I like Springsteen. Don't get me wrong, but if it was a straight biography from the day he was born till present, I would say sign me up. I'm going this weekend. This movie's about 4 years in his life, and it's like the Queen movie. The Queen movie, Bohemian Rhapsody, could have been just so much more if they went the route that they originally wanted to go, which was like a darker, real life story of what Freddie's life was like. Instead, they had to pop it up because they needed to make it a lesser PG-13 rating, which is fine. That's no problem. But it just doesn't give it sometimes what you want. But that could just be me saying that. But you know how much I love the Doors. No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke. I like biographies where let's go to some of the greatest ones. Ray, let's go to Walk the Line. Those are two really good musical biographies about a musician. I don't think the Springsteen documentary isn't, just from what I'm seeing, that type of movie. But I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Also, I forgot about 2 other films that are getting released. Predator Badlands gets released November 7th. That film has I believe, a PG rating, and people are complaining about that. But I think it's due to the fact that there's not a lot of human blood. There's cyborg blood, I guess, in it. I want to see how that goes. And also, we have that movie with Sydney Sweeney when she plays Christy. She plays the coal miner's daughter, as they will. Christy Martin, who's a boxer that I grew up watching box, and then I think she got beat by Layla Ali. But yeah, those 2 movies I kind of want to see. I was a big fan of The Fighter. I really like The Fighter. So hopefully Christy can kind of get on that level. That'd be kind of cool.
When I went and seen Black Phone 2, which I told you was a really good movie recently, they played 4 or 5 horror movies that actually look like we're going to be in a good run this next year for even more really good horror movies. There's another one with Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried that just looks incredible, where Amanda Seyfried hires Sydney Sweeney to be like her stay-in like nanny, and just stuff just goes bonkers. But that one looks really good. There's this one called Primate, where I think I told you about. I don't know if I did. It's pretty much the best part in Nope. with that
Yeah,
chimpanzee. That looks pretty good. And you just I think horror is going to be really, that's not a genre that people will have to worry about, because this year definitely pumped that up even more.
yeah. So hopefully horror makes a really, really big comeback.
Yeah.
And you got Five Nights at Freddy's Part 2.
That too. Trailer, honestly, the first one was but I watched the second trailer. They showed that one in the theater, and it looked better than I thought it was going to look. Skeet
I'll
Ulrich
watch
is
it.
going to be in it with Matthew Lillard, a Scream reunion.
Yeah, I'll watch it. But I mean, there's Keeper coming out too. That's another film that looks interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So horror is kind of making a little comeback. So hopefully we can talk about those films going forward in the next couple of weeks as we go see them. I am going to see The Black Phone next week, the first. So
Cool.
we'll go see it the first.
Awesome.
So I'm looking forward to that. But with that, my friend, we're going to be talking about the great Brad Dourif tonight. So before we get into his films, tell me a film that you saw, like where you first exposed to Brad Dourif.
What I wanted to bring up, actually, which was crazy, because I sended you my list. I sended you my list, and then I like almost threw a fist in the air, because I thought about the most coolest thing Brad Dourif is in, and it isn't a movie. It's a television episode, and it's an episode of my favorite show of all time, and it's a horror show. It's a show called Tales from the Crypt, and he is in the episode People Who Live in Brass Hearses. And who does he star in this episode with? Probably one of my favorite actors of all time, Bill Paxton. And they are brothers. And boy, I've never seen a pair of stupider brothers in my life, but because they play them and they just do such a great job. But this episode of Tales from the Crypt it's straight fire. It's straight awesomeness. If you haven't seen this one, they pretty much want to rob this ice cream truck guy is pretty much what it is. And I love Tales from the Crypt because, number one, they're 30 minutes. So if you don't got time, but you want to watch a movie, it's like gives you everything. You got the arc, you got the story, you learn about everyone, and then it's over, and there's like this huge twist. Well, the twist in this one is just incredible, because you find out the ice cream guy actually has a twin brother that's attached to him, and just insane craziness. But Brad Dourif just plays such a fool in this episode, and I love him for it. And that's probably one of my, I mean, of course, Chucky, but me just seeing him and remembering him, such a great role.
Yeah, that part. I
remember
that part.
This guy's a man right here. He just sold me, a man after my own heart. He used to get in trouble staying up late. So did I. Tales from the Crypt. That's amazing. Thank you, Joey, for that. That's cool.
Yeah, that episode was just so weird how the ending is when he's giving the kids ice cream.
Oh, it is very weird. Very weird. And the brothers all.
One of these days, we'll do a Tales from the Crypt deep dive into our favorite episodes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sam, who said Clint Howard. I saw that movie is ridiculous. The Ice Cream Man with Clint Howard.
Oh, that is good ridiculous, but yes, ridiculous.
My first experience to Brad Dourif was actually, most people, it's probably their first experience was Chucky. Mine wasn't. Mine was actually he was in the X-Files, an episode. He just played. I forget what I can't remember the complete thing of the X-Files, but I remember he was just like some weird dude.
I watched
Beyond
it
the
recently
Sea, Beyond the
too.
Sea,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Beyond the Sea, I think it's called, the episode. He's a psychic, like a death row inmate, and he just plays like a crazy dude.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that, and then of course I saw Chucky, the Child's Play, later. But yeah, he was that was one of the first things I saw him in as a person, and then I of course thought this guy was awesome. He's very intense. Wonderful for actor. Rick Steiner provides promo on Rick Steiner on Monday Night Nitro. But with that tone, let's go into our first film of Mr. Dourif that we picked. Let's run into that one right now.
Let's do it.
I think you have created quite the masterpiece of a monster off the blood of this town, because monsters sell books.
2007's Halloween. He plays Sheriff Lee Brackett. It was directed by Rob Zombie, who did House of a Thousand Corpses, The Devil's Rejects, Three from Hell, and Halloween 2. He also did The Munsters. It stars Malcolm McDowell along with Tyler Mane, Doug Farich, hopefully I said that correctly, Sherry Moon Zombie, and William Forsythe. The movie had a budget of $15 million and a box office of $80 million. Now, the dog face. This film is not a great film in my opinion in terms of I see what Rob Zombie was going for. I think Brad Dourif just kind of, for me, saves the film in the way he plays as Sheriff Lee Brackett. In the original Halloween, that character was in there, but he wasn't as, fleshed out as he is in this film. And I think Dourif does a really, really good job of kind of taking a more serious role. He's usually an intense man. He is intense in this film, but he's not usually doing the screaming. It's kind of a different look at more of his acting skills. And he does a great job being the yang to Malcolm McDowell's Ying. And Malcolm McDowell is like a complete asshole version of Loomis in here, which I thought was pretty cool idea to do. And Brad Dourif, they play off each other perfectly when they're hunting for Michael. What do you think about Halloween, Tone?
I'm probably like a little less than what even you said.
Mm-hmm.
But when I brought it, like Katie likes this one. I don't know. I think she likes it more because it's it feels a little bit more real than the other ones. Not that she loves the other ones more. I think she's actually wearing a Halloween shirt right now. But this one, just for what it is, part 2. I don't know if I've ever made it through part 2. But this is it's very violent. You know what I mean? It's a violent movie a little bit more than the other ones. The other ones are violent, but in a different type of violence. I did find it cool, though, that you got Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees as a gun shop owner in this flick.
Yeah. It's like Rob Zombie. I think he's really, really hit or miss on his films. I really liked House of a Thousand Corpses. I liked Devil's Rejects. I even liked Three from Hell. I did not like The Munsters.
Monsters is bad.
Wasn't really a particular big fan of the Halloween films. And John Carpenter wasn't either. And it's not the fact that it was a remake because I want to see his vision. Like we talked about a remake that came out on last episode. We talked about the Friday the 13th remake. Wasn't the greatest film, but I like the way they went with even the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake with Jessica Biel. Wasn't the greatest film, but it was kind of cool the way they went with it.
Yeah.
This one I can see like they replaced Michael with like this big 6'8" dude, which is like, okay, you want to make him physically imposing. One of my favorite parts from this film is actually just when he fights the guy in the fucking bathroom. The guy ate like a Nacho Supreme or Burrito Loco Supreme. Everybody's like, I'm gonna be here a while. And the man still gets up and fights him with a knife after he's trying to poop. And Michael kills him.
Like I love Rob, and I think I love his music. I think he's amazing. But I think he always relies a little bit too much on Sherry Moon,
Mhm.
which doesn't say she's bad, but more. But he likes that B movie stuff. You know what I mean? And I think that's what he's trying to go for at the same time. So maybe, me saying that is is that. But I mean, it's not a terrible movie by any stretch. And again, the Halloween movie series is, if not one of the best, one of the top horror series.
Did you go to Rob Zombie's American Nightmare?
I sure did, and it popped up on my phone this last week on Facebook. It was 14 years ago. Oh,
wow.
Yep.
14 years ago, huh?
And it was actually a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun, but again, he should have kept bringing it back, but he didn't.
My Brian said it was effing terrible. Why am I a skank? Oh, Brian, you skank. I've never been to it, but I've heard like my partner at my old job, she went to it and she told me she liked it. The Gacy room was crazy. But I always thought it was kind of interesting how he's a big fan of horror. I think he owns like almost every horror film on DVD or VHS. I remember they had a Cribs, MTV Cribs, in his room. He was filled with them.
Well, we didn't wait in line for 6 hours. If I had to do that, I definitely would have left. I think we waited maybe 30, 35 minutes. Second, they used to have a show on MTV called Headbangers Ball,
Mhm.
and I'll never forget, they had
Ricky
him on a
Redmond.
whole season, and all he did in the background was paint their back wall, and Ricky was doing, like, all the music stuff. He was just back there, and I realized when he was doing that, what a great artist he is, and
Mhm.
he does their booklets. So, like, to me, the guy is just a master artist. So, like, when he did the haunted house, it's like, okay, I'll check that out. But as a filmmaker, especially more recent films, they haven't been hitting very much.
No, but I like his music.
Lords of Salem's not the worst, but you know what I mean? It's all for what are you looking for in this stuff, and it's really a lot of it's campy, it's B movie, and I think the Munsters should have been a lot better.
Yeah. Dr. Satan. No. Yeah, but I think Brad Dourif for me in this film kind of saves it
That's about
to
it.
make it watchable. Now the second one I can't get through it. It's stupid to me. But I don't know. Moving on, my friend. Let's go into your next Brad Dourif film.
I got a new game, sport. It's called Hide the Soul. And guess what? You're it.
1990s Child's Play 2. He plays the voice of Chucky. It's directed by John Lafia. Hopefully I said that correctly. Who also did Man's Best Friend and The Blue Iguana. He also did a game that is infamous in the gaming world called Corpse Killer, which is pretty hilariously bad. The film stars Alex Vincent, Jenny Agutter, Garrett Graham, Christine Elise, and Grace Zabriskie. Hopefully I said her name correctly. Apparently I've been getting a lot of flack about the way I pronounce names. I'm sorry, yo. Box office of 35 million and a budget of 13 million. Tell me why you picked this one, Tone.
A blast, a fun, great time. Imagining Brad Dourif cutting his lines in the booth, like what you just played right there, it makes me laugh. It's as quickly as you said, like in part 4 or 5 or 6, or as Freddy goes and he gets more ridiculous. Chucky jumps right from the ridiculous from like the half of part 1 all the way for the rest of his career. He's just dropping one-liners. I love in this movie when he goes and Andy gets the other one and he buries him in the back and he like pretends to be him. I like the campiness in this movie. I like they have a jagoff dad that's involved in the plot, which he unfortunately doesn't make it through. The sister, I think, did a good job. I just remember this one a lot because if I'm not mistaken, I watched the first one, and I mean, I was pretty young when I saw that one. When this one came out, I was more like 12 or 13, so I got it more. I understood more than I did the first time, and I thought it was great, and they played it on cable all the time.
Yeah, I remember this was when this film came out. I saw the first one, and then this one came out, and I was like really, really excited because I saw Brad Dourif in the first X-Files film. That's when I saw him as a person. I didn't know who Brad Dourif was. I didn't know he was a Chucky guy. Of course, I watched Chucky, but I didn't know he was the guy who did the voice as a kid. And this film came out in like 91, I think, came to VHS. I remember going to Masterpiece Theater video with my mom and brother. And like when I grew up, I don't know if you the same with you, Tone. When you go into the movie store or the movie rental place, they used to have chips, like little circles on hooks that would show how many of the movies they had.
Yeah.
We did not. There was none of them on there for Child's Play 2, and my dad happened to know the guy who owned this video rental store. His name was Jaime. Him and his brother owned it, and he knew we were coming. He's like, "Oh, I got it for you." He had it under his front of his counter. Just he saved one for us. So I was so excited to see this film when we rented it. The picture of him cutting the Jack in the Box was always like infamous and iconic to me. I remember he was on MTV. I think he was like introduced into the Hall of Fame of horror, like the Horror Hall of Fame awards. He was like this one, like Child's Play got really, really popular. And reading it, I thought that I read that Chris Sarandon was supposed to come back as a detective, and I guess they cut his scenes for budget reasons.
Oh,
which
Interesting.
is pretty crazy. But this is actually a really decent, good sequel. Alex Vincent, it still surprises me how great he acts as a kid.
Yeah. I mean, he does, you know, for a sequel, you're saying to yourself, you could, it's going to be, that's the same thing when we talked about Nightmare on Elm Street. Like there's something about Jason 2, Freddy 2, Halloween 2, Chucky 2. I like them all quite a lot for some reason. And I think it's because you don't get as much of the introduction to the character as you do just straight getting right into what they're about and what they're going to be doing in the movie. You even mentioned Hellraiser too. You know what I mean? That's 5 right there. Also in the movie though is just a very good like the ending, like the way Chucky goes down. Just
Yeah, he gets fucked up in this movie, like really bad.
yeah, really, really bad. And it's cool the way in part 3, that's kind of how it starts. It starts with how part 2 ends. I like that. And just like how part 2 starts, how part 1 ends.
And you know what? It makes sense how he comes back because the
Yeah.
blood's mixed with the what I don't get is why they clean up the the skull from the first one, but I mean, I guess they're trying to save parts. But it makes sense why they're doing. I mean, it makes sense how he comes back. But
I like in the beginning, he like the guy he's playing like in the office, and like that's where Chucky like it's just good it's some good campy horror stuff.
yeah, it's very, very campy. And it's like I still like the Chucky films. I think until they got into like the Seed and stuff like that, they were
Oh,
ridiculous.
Seed is bad.
But I mean, I heard the show had good reviews. I mean,
Doris got a
iconic
good. I
character.
heard his daughter's a good actress. She acts in some stuff too. That's really good. She's
Yeah.
in the Chucky's. They did a couple movies before they did the series. They're kind of more straight to video movies. They're not terrible. But again, they brought Brad. That Seed of Chucky's just bad with the son. Oh, that's bad.
And apparently they had a marketing for this film that had a 1-900 number.
Oh.
And you could hear Chucky's voice if he called it. It got 40,000 calls in 1 month.
Oh, that's pretty
Does
interesting.
Chucky and Conan O'Brien have the same hair? Probably Jack. Chucky and Conan O'Brien do have the same hair. If you haven't seen Child's Play, man, I don't know where you've been living or if you're under a rock or whatnot, but watch the first 2. They're pretty
Yeah,
decent.
and especially you brought it up earlier. I mean, you see the first one and you're like, I didn't know Stephen Dorff's the voice. You know how crazy it was for me to figure out that he was actually in the
Brad
beginning
Dourif.
of the movie? Brad Dourif. Yeah, because I'm looking at his comment now. Brad Dourif. He's at the beginning of the movie. And then he's not. Charles Lee Ray. I love saying that name.
I'll get you, Eddie. You'll be next. That part makes me laugh because he's so intense. And this next film I'm going to show, he is super intense, man. Let's just go into the next one, Tone.
Listen, you idiot! I don't think this is as important as your lousy snot!
For those who are watching, that's
Wow.
actually John Landis he's yelling at on the film.
That's what I look like him, but I'm like, he doesn't direct this.
Yeah, he doesn't direct this film, but the film is called Spontaneous Combustion. It's released in 1989. He plays the role of Sam. This film is directed by Toby Hooper, who you might know, who directed a couple of good films named Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 and 2. Supposedly he directed this film called Poltergeist, but I think Steven Spielberg directed that. This film Life Force and The Funhouse, which makes me laugh because Cotton texted me. He's like, I watched that film, The Funhouse, and man, is it horrible. It just cracked me up because he happened to watch it because it was directed by Toby Hooper. This film stars Cynthia Bain, John Cypher, William Price, Linda Dillon, and Dick Buckus plays the Lieutenant General in this film. It had a budget of $5.5 million and a box office of $50K. Now, this film is ridiculous. It's it's an underrated Brad Dourif film. It's basically about a guy who is told that his parents have died by drowning in a car accident, but in reality they died of spontaneous combustion. And it's basically he's going through the changes of it, and he has powers. When he gets very angry or very overstressed, his body starts to like basically fall apart, and it can actually express energy to kill people, which is why John Landis was getting electrocuted in that clip. Brad Dourif saves this whole film. You can actually watch this on YouTube for free. Uh,
Really?
it's in Spanish if you look up Spontaneous Combustion in Spanish. But it's an English film, but it's under a Spanish name. That's all I'll tell you. Just look on the net and you'll find it. Great film. It's corny as hell. Brad Dourif steals the show. This is like it's one of his few leading roles I know him in, where he's the main person. And it just goes with all the myth and the gravitas of how people are dying. Like spontaneous combustion has been something that's been discussed for many years. I remember reading about it in books. It's still, I mean, I believe it can happen. People just disintegrate and their body just turned on fire. Some people don't think it's true, and some people think it's like they'll swear by it. So it's just one of those things like about the human body, and it was just one of those films that cracked me up because especially it has like the little cameos like John Landis in it. Have you ever seen this one, Tone?
I've never heard of this movie until you sent this one to me, and you know me, man, and which was awesome because I also love Tobe. I must have somehow missed when I went through the Tobe Hooper collection because I've done it before and missed this movie. And then I must have missed it when I went through Brad Dourif stuff because at first when you sent me the movies, I was like, this must be something in the last 10 years that I just missed. And then I saw 1990. And then I started saying to myself, wow, that's pretty awesome. 89, I mean, that's pretty awesome. Really cool. I'm definitely going to check it out this weekend.
Yeah, and Dourif expressed disappointment with the final version, blaming studio interference and stuff like that. He said, quote, and I quote, "You see me playing my heart out in scenes that are not working, and the reason they're not working is the movie doesn't make sense. It's almost funny. The producers destroyed it. Toby could have made 3 different movies with the material he had, and each one of them would have worked. But by the time he got it, it changed from a love story to a suspense killer to a guy goes crazy film. The beginning of the film was great, and certain portion of my stuff was fine, but then it became stupid when all the flame stuff started happening." And he does play a very, very good role. You kind of feel bad for him because he's not really a bad guy. He just has something wrong with him. But he plays like his intensity is so great. I wish a lot of more actors did the intensity of Brad Dourif. Like
He gets into these roles.
He's gonna have like bust a vein in his head. He reminds me when I was younger. I was on a little league team and we played like shit. We lost against a team that shouldn't have lost against. And my coach at the time, his name was Dave. He was like, we played like shit, and like some of us didn't care. And he's like, "You see this vein in my eye? It's gonna fucking burst if you keep playing like this." He like went off on us. He did his Brad Dourif moment, and that's every time I see this film, it reminds me of him because
I
of the way he
remember
acted.
those days. That's great. That's a good one, though. That's a good one.
But if you haven't seen it, you can check it out on YouTube. Hit me up and I'll send you the link to watch it. Very, very, as I say, gem. That's not great, but Brad Dourif makes the film very, very watchable, and you get the little cameos in there.
Great.
But let's go on to the next. I love the next films that you picked because they crack me up.
Why you went in a little different direction here.
Yeah, so we're gonna go into our next film that Mr. Tony picked.
You must know, I do have somebody in my life. Black, emotional, whole, unattractive me.
1994's Color of the Night. He plays the role of Clark. It's directed by Richard Bush, who did The Stuntman, Freebie and the Bean, Getting Straight, The Savage 7, and Psych Out. It stars Bruce Willis, Jane March, Ruben Blades, Leslie Ann Warren, Scott Bakula, Kevin J. O'Connor, and Lance Henriksen. At a budget of $40 million in a box office of 19. Tell us why you picked this one.
I mean, when I think back to like those early 90s when you got to watch some movies on cable late at night, this movie would always be on. And then when you go to school and you're talking to like other people, other friends who like watch the movie too, and you guys just happen to bring up the most ridiculous parts from these movies. Like this movie is ultimately ridiculous. I don't want to say this is a good movie, great movie, but it is ridiculous. Bruce Willis, God rest his soul, brings I don't even want to know, a tour de force of ridiculousness that you rarely seen in a movie. He's very serious. There's a part in the movie where he's very nude. Very rarely do you ever get to see a very full frontal Bruce Willis. You do in this flick. You also, which was one of the jokes that everybody would bring up about this movie, was like, the movie with, Bruce Willis's dick. That's generally what a lot of people would say when you're talking about this movie. But back to Brad Dourif and the whole plot of the movie, because it is ultimately ridiculous if you have never seen this movie. Just the idea that all of these people who are seeing, well, first of all, Bruce Willis is a psychologist. Let's just start there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was a therapist. He was a therapist in The Sixth Sense. So
yeah, but like in The Sixth Sense, it's a little bit more believable because in that one, they build the role for him. In this movie, he's supposed to be dealing with like sex addicts, people who are, and they're all meeting together, and just by coincidence, they're all talking about the same person. And also by creepiness, that person's in the room disguised. And so it's really creepy movie. And just a really weird, but Scott Bakula, he's good as the friend who lends him his business, his practice. It's like, hey man, want to come to my practice? I got to get out of here.
Yeah. The premise of this film is ridiculous. Brad Dourif doesn't play a big role in this film, but I mean, what he does play, he steals the show. Just that little monologue with him and his the woman in the film. Yeah, the tirades he goes through. Jay March, I guess, was very, very upset with the fact of being nude in this film. She did not want to be nude, and the director said that he didn't feel comfortable convincing her to be nude for the film. And to go with what you said about Bruce Willis, I think he came out and was like saying that like, is everybody? Oh, he said that with everybody referring to me like, did they see my dick? I'm like, what? Bruce Willis? Quite frankly, are they looking at my dick? Was his quote.
This is why I brought it up. When will you ever talk about this movie ever?
Yeah, I don't know, man. This movie's out there.
But that's what's scary. See, that's why you just came to why I brought this movie up, because it's scary in a different way. It's scary. It's like, what the hell is going on? Like, why are all these people going on? Because then people start getting murdered. Okay. And if you really want to do one of the amazing, we do those fan theories. Is this a prequel or a sequel to Pumpkinhead with Lance Henriksen? Like, is he there for his son's ridiculous murder in Pumpkinhead, but he just ends up with no, that's not what happened. But still, ridiculous flick.
Yeah, and the cover is like him and her all sweaty.
Color of the night.
Yeah, it's so sweet. And then like they make it like, because he's colorblind, and I'm like, that doesn't really have anything to do with the film. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't have like a big plot.
Only thing I will give this movie that I think is amazing is the way it looks. Like, everything else that's going on is bad, but like when he's by the pool and the way the sun looks, I'm like, man, I wish I lived in that house by that pool. But these people are all not good people. I mean, for the lack of a better term, a lot of these people. But poor Brad Dourif, he was really in love. He really loved her, and he got screwed.
He had OCD.
Well, that's it, and that's why I picked it, because no other movie show will ever be talking about The Color of Night this year. We might be the only one.
Yeah, but you know what? Thing too is this. At the end, he kisses her, and then he can see red.
But that's the ridiculous. This is early 90s. Like, see, I brought it up before, but like going to the video store with my mom, we were always looking for like what was called like a murder mystery, and that's what this was. And this is the first time I watched. Can you imagine that? I'm like, well, hold on a second here. What year did this come out? 94. I'm 13 years old, 12 years old, and I'm renting this movie with my mom, watching Color of Night. And when there's the nude scene, she's like, Tony, go in the other room. I don't want you to see this. And that's what's hilarious, because then you watch this movie and you're saying to yourself, I would never watch this with my son or my daughter at 12. I wouldn't even watch it with you at this age because it's not that good. But I'm just being honest that it's a ridiculous movie, man.
So this is what the great Roger Ebert said. I was frankly stupefied. To call it absurd would be missing the point, since any shred of credibility was obviously the first thing thrown overboard. It's so lurid in melodrama and so goofy in plotting that with just a bit more trouble, it would have been a comedy.
Well, the multiple personalities is ridiculous. Richie, Bonnie, Rose, because you're like, wow, Rose is super hot. And then you're watching the movie and it's like, Richie is Rose? What's going on? My brain hurts.
Yeah, because he had gender dysphoria.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know, man. This film was out there. Yeah, I don't know. But with that, let's go on to our next film, my friend. Oh my goodness.
There's only one way to deal with their kind. On their own terms.
1990s Graveyard Shift. He plays the role of the Exterminator. The film was directed by Ralph S. Singleton, who only did one other directing job, and that was Cagney and Lacey, a TV series, and he only did one episode for that. The film stars David Andrews, Kelly Wolf, Stephen Mock, Andrew Devoff, and Vic Polizos. It had a budget of $10.5 million, a box office of $11.5 million. So this film, of course, is based off a Stephen King novel or short story. And I remember seeing this film with Stephen Mock being completely batshit crazy. I did a 31 Days of Horror on this film. He's great in the film. The film is not your A-list horror film. It's just crazy with a giant bat / rat or whatever creature that lives in there. But Brad Dourif is only in the film for maybe 20, 25 minutes, and he steals the show as the Exterminator. He's obsessed with killing rats. He's a former person who served in Vietnam. He's completely batshit crazy. He has a real thick, Cajun accent. He has a little dog that he has with him that goes and kills the rats for him. And he ends up getting killed by a tombstone dropped on his head.
Ridiculous.
But this is a tough film. It's ridiculous. This is a film where the monster gets killed due to a slingshot. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's definitely out there. Tone, what do you think about this one?
I thought the rats were more creepier than the bat. You know what I mean? Throughout the movie, but that's the problem. There's some really cool stuff in this movie. It's just that bat is ridiculous. We're getting hit by a slingshot and that's it. Dorf, though, again, you're right, steals the show. It was interesting to learn when we were doing some research for this that the first cut received an X rating. Because you're thinking this movie rated X, but that's kind of interesting. I'd like to see that cut.
I guess maybe because they had too much sex scenes with Kelly Wolf. I don't know. And she dies in the film, which is kind of funny. I wish they would have kept Brad Dourif alive to see him go against the bat. Stephen Mock tries his hellest. I mean, he goes and attacks the bat with his knife. He gives it a hug and starts stabbing it, and it just kills him. But yeah, I mean, he's batshit crazy. And then there's the guy, Polizos, who's I always laughed at that part where he shoots the fire hose at the rats, and he screams. He's like, "Arr!" Every time he shoots them, why is he screaming? But yeah, it's a ridiculous film. It's a slow burn until the end when they go down into the mines. But Brad Dourif keeps you sane, and he kills it as the Exterminator in the film. If you haven't seen this one, watch it. There's not really much more I can say about it. Just Brad Dourif is loved in this film.
It's great in it.
Now we're gonna go to another film. Now I could not find a Brad Dourif clip where he spoke, but I did find this for you, Tone.
Hey Raymond, you get enough beer for Ben too. What kind of beer do you like? Heineken? Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Raymond is mentioned in that line. Blue Velvet, 1986. He plays the role of Raymond, directed by David Lynch, who did Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me, Mulholland Drive, The Straight Story, Lost Highway, The Elephant Man, Eraserhead, and Dune. It stars Isabella Rossellini, Kyle MacLachlan, Dennis Hopper, Laura Dern, Dean Stockwell, and Francis Bay. And a budget of $6 million and a box office of $8.6 million. Tell me why you picked this one.
This is a creepy movie to me, a very creepy movie. You know, it's not scary, it's not a horror movie, but it's creepy. Just the way everybody acts in this movie. Dennis Hopper is on another level. But like Mr. Brad Dourif as the henchman to Dennis Hopper, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, if you're watching online or live, his hair. Definitely what you can see in all these movies is he's got a style going in every single movie he's in. Like, as you said, it's either sweaty. You know, yesterday, you know, we've talked about the movie plenty of times on the show before, but him in Mississippi Burning, you know what I mean? Him and just always brings some kind of a vibe to him and what he's doing. But David Lynch he's on another level in this movie, and so is Kyle MacLachlan too. I don't know if I've ever said his name right. I'll have to. He's one name that I should gotten right. I've said it so many different times, but just really good movie. I really like this movie, and I think it's really, really creepy movie.
Yeah, he plays like the pimp / husband of the main character. That's Raymond, and he's the henchman to Dennis Hopper. Dennis Hopper is full blown fucking crazy in this film. He's nominated for an Oscar. Just like his outburst, just that little outburst about Pat's Blue Ribbon, and this is right before they go into like the to go see a guy perform Roy Orbison with like a light on him. It's a very, very strange like film, and you would expect less from David Lynch if you watch Twin Peaks. I mean, it's completely out there. Eraserhead, like if you watch that film, completely out there. But Brad Dourif, it's just kind of cool to see him as the sidekick, especially when the Roy Orbison guy is singing. Brad Dourif's actually standing on a chair in the back, like just like kind of bouncing around a little bit. Like it's just so strange. It's and if anybody can out intense anybody like Brad Dourif, it would probably be Dennis Hopper for his intensity, because he is batshit crazy in this film.
Not a lot like Dennis Hopper. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people like him, like that acted like he did in movies. And you say to yourself, like, he would have been. Oh, he is in, isn't he in? He's in Texas Chainsaw Massacre too.
Yeah, he's in the second one.
I was just gonna say, it'd be really cool if he was in a horror movie, and then I forgot. Yeah,
Lefty.
He was in one. But just like as you said, an out there movie. But all of David Lynch's movies are pretty much out there. I don't think there's one that isn't out there. You know, Lost Highway, out there. You know, this is out there. Just all out there.
Yeah, it totally fits his style of film. This film is very intense, very, very dark. But he draws you into that world, and you're just mesmerized by what's going on the screen. And they keep you it's not what I would say it's a long film, but it's not really what I'd say a slow burn. It's more, it progresses, like you're just going through the motion watching it, and you're like, what the fuck is going, like it keeps you really into it.
True.
I would highly recommend this film for anybody who has not seen it. Blue Velvet is a very, very underrated film. This film, I believe, I don't think Hopper was nominated for an Oscar for this film. Was he not? Yeah, no, he was not. He was only nominated for Easy Rider and for and Hoosiers, which I think this film he did a 10 times better job in this film than he did in Hoosiers.
For some reason, the song always sticks in my head. She wore blue velvet. Just really, the music, and it's out there because you're saying to yourself, this is like the mid 80s. You know what I mean? And there's just something very bleak about the movie. It's almost like you took Tim Burton and you made him 20 times bleaker. That's just what it feels like. Everything's just even more bleaker than a world of Tim Burton.
Yeah, and The part that creeps me out is when he's like in the car and he takes a hit
That's
of
the thing.
drug.
He's like cussing, and he's like, everyone's just like, what?
Yeah, but he's like, then he goes like, "Ooh, baby, want me baby." I was just that part, like the way he switches on from like being like intense, and then he goes into like the baby voice.
When Kyle MacLachlan's in the closet, he's just like looking out there, and he's like acting. Oh my god!
Yeah, the
But
candy colored clown. They call
can
him the
you
Sandman.
can you imagine? That's what's cool about it, because you're saying to yourself, David Lynch has got this script. He gives it to Hopper, and Hopper goes with this. You know what I mean? And so does Dourif and everybody along the ride. And you say to yourself, there's nothing else like it, which I guess is what makes it unique.
And this is one of the quotes that Dourif says to Dennis Hopper. Just listen to this. This is an actual quote from the film. Brad Dourif's character asks Frank Booth, who's Dennis Hopper's character, he says, "Do you want me to pour it, Frank?" And Frank says, "No, I want you to fuck it." Shit, yes, pour the fucking beer. That's how like ridiculous this film is. I read that he says the word fuck 56 times in the film. It's ridiculous. You have to watch this film if you haven't seen it.
It's definitely a trip.
Yeah. Man, just check this one out. It's definitely worth it. Believe me. Report back and let me know. Let us know. Moving on, my friend.
I sometimes do special things to my victims. Things that are creative. Of course, it takes knowledge, pride in your work.
1990's The Exorcist III. He plays the role of the Gemini Killer. This film was directed by William Peter Blatty, who also directed The Ninth Conflagration. He also wrote that movie, and he also wrote the original Exorcist and Darlene Lilly. He has an Oscar for the screenplay for the original Exorcist. This film stars George C. Scott, Scott Wilson, Ed Flanders, Peggy Alston, Jason Miller reprising his role of Father Karras, Nicole Williamson, and Nancy Fish. It had a budget of $11 million and a box office of $39 million. Tone, I've hyped this film up to you a bunch of times. I watched this again. This film creeps me more than the original Exorcist, to be honest with you. And I said that this film was like 1-1. I would say this film's, but to me, it's my favorite of the series, with The Exorcist being number 2. Brad Dourif, I think, just seals the deal for the way it's shot. Is he's basic. Father Karras basically has two personalities: Father Karras and then the Gemini Killer, and they come out of each other. Like he comes out like when George C. Scott's talking to them. And Brad Dourif steals the show in like just his intense screaming. He also does the creepy little dialogue like you heard right now. There's a part where he actually sings a hymn to him in a soft voice. And the way he laughs, maniacal, like the way he says, "I will punish you if you don't tell them I'm around." Like just his dialogue is ridiculous. The plot is great. I love how they did something different. There's actually a director's cut called Legion, and Father Karras is nowhere near the film, being Jason Miller. It's Brad Dourif was actually originally supposed to be just Brad Dourif as the priest, and the Gemini Killer wasn't him. So that is the William Peter Blatty version that he had that you can watch. I think it has like an extra 50 minutes of screen time, but they use archive footage from the film to fill in the spots. I like this version better with Jason Miller. I think he's great in it. A lot of weird dream sequences in this film, and a lot of jump scares, but ones that are like, holy shit, what was that? And a lot of creepiness. There's a part where George C. Scott's in the old folks home and he's talking, and you look up and nobody's noticing, but there's like a woman crawling on the top of the ceiling, and that's freaky as hell. You have to see this film. I highly recommend it, Tone.
I ended up watching it this week because you sent it to me, and that was one of the ones that I said to myself, finally, I got to give into this. I can't be scared. I got to watch it, and it is an incredible movie. I like the first one, but I like this one more. I think I liked, and I think it's back to Brad Dourif, who we're talking about tonight. You know, you take him out, and let's just say you put in somebody else, I might not like the movie as much. But I think he really, that scene you just played there at the beginning, I'll remember this till I long gone off this planet. Your video that you put together, the 3 minutes, 30 Days of Horror, Exorcist III. And seriously, I remember watching it, and I was sitting there at like the kitchen table, and I was sitting there, and I was actually scared after watching your little video, because I don't have any other movie you've ever done or I've ever seen where I felt that way. There's something about this movie that's just scary and freaky. I can't even explain it.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, so I did the original in my original 31 Days of Horror 4 years ago, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I always edit my voiceover with my headphones on, and I used to edit the scenes with my headphones on. That one didn't creep me out because I would hear because then when you play the clips to splice it up and cut it in, you hear what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
in the film. So like she didn't scare me, but when I did the Exorcist 3 and I was cutting that together, that the scenes in there, and it would go through my headphones and just be me down here working by myself, kind of freaky. Like the stuff that happens in it, it's out there, man.
Well, that's even you saying being in a basement doing it even adds a little more scary. And when we lived in Illinois growing up till we moved to Indiana, we had a basement and it was finished, and that's where I seen some of the Chucky, all these horror movies, and it gave it an extra scary layer being in a basement watching a horror movie than if you were upstairs. So this movie definitely brings it, and Brad Dourif definitely brings it.
Yeah, for all you baseball fans out there, it's now a 2-2 score between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays.
Who you want to win?
I want the Dodgers to win. I'm not a Dodgers fan. I just want them to win because it'll piss off the owners. That's the real reason I want them to win. Because they spent money, and I mean, they'll piss off the owners because they're spending money.
Hey.
But yeah, the Exorcist 3, definitely check it out if you haven't. It's definitely worth your time. Just prepare to be freaked out when you see it. And for our final film, Tone, this is going to be a short episode, man. We're going flying through these. For our final film.
Hard work. We used blood samples from Fiore 16 on ice, where you died. We've remade you. We cloned you.
1997's Alien Resurrection. He plays the role of Guydeman, Dr. Guydeman, or Giddyman, I guess. I can't pronounce his name. This is another one I can't pronounce, Tone. Thank you. It's directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet. He did A Very Long Engagement, Amelia, De Cartesienne, The City of Lost Children, and Mi'kmaq, I guess. The film stars Sigourney Weaver, Winona Ryder, Dominique Pinion, Ron Perlman, Gary Durden, Michael Wincott, and J.E. Freeman to go along with Mr. Dourif. It had a budget of $75 million and a box office of $161 million. Tell me why you picked the Resurrection, man. The Alien Resurrection.
Saw this one in the movie theater. I thought it was a good movie. I wouldn't say it was great. It was pretty much our description of like ended days earlier. Could have been better. It wasn't terrible. It took some chances. It's the first time where you saw some computer FX on the Alien mixed in there. But I just always remember my dad talking about Brad Dourif's performance and how ridiculous it is in a good way. The way he talks to the alien in the movie. And when we're talking about all these movies with him, and there's others we haven't, where we didn't even talk about, you just put him in all these movies and you say to yourself, what makes a great actor? This is what makes a great actor, because the movie isn't good at times, but he's good in it. And it's definitely, I would put it, if you don't count the Prometheus movies, probably my third favorite. I think it's better than Alien 3. I could be wrong. But I just think it's ridiculous at times.
This film is ridiculous. Dan Hedaya as the general who gets his head like killed, picks off pieces of his brain and looks at it. That's pretty ridiculous. Brad Dourif. I was gonna use this clip that you're showing on the screen of him kissing the glass and then like doing the, but it was like not really good for sound. For
No,
people who listen to us audioly, so that's why I went with the other clip. But yeah, he's ridiculous. And then he gives this big monologue when she's giving birth to the flesh alien who there used to be a basketball player that looked like him. I forget his name. I'll think of it. But like the flesh alien that comes out, like who's another ridiculously looking thing.
That
Also,
thing was ridiculous.
that Ripley apparently is in like feels pain for. That's like her kid or something. I don't know. And then you have Gary Dourdan, who, when I first saw this film, me being me, I thought it was Lenny Kravitz at first.
Are
But
you gonna go my way?
yeah, but then I found out he was from CSI Miami. And then you have the guy Dominique Pignon, who does the is in the wheelchair, and the part where the acids burns him, and he goes a little and it like pans out. Michael Wincott's in this film too. Like this is kind of when Michael Wincott kind of was like on the trajectory down. And he came back up later, but like he's the small role in this film. And then you have the guy from the sex parlor in massage parlor from Seven. He kind of sets the alien inside of him.
Yeah, Leland Orser.
Yeah, and he kills Ren. He's like spanking him against him, has the alien come out of him to kill Ren. There's a lot of good kills in this film.
Ron Perlman's ridiculous in this.
Oh yeah, he's ridiculous in this too. He gets scared of a spider and shoots it with his gun.
It's just more of the fact of, I think they were trying to go for, I think Winona Ryder is what really sets me off in this movie. And I like Winona Ryder. I just don't like her. I just think her character's kind of silly. I don't know. And I also think it's silly.
His character's stupid.
And I also think it's silly the way Sigourney Weaver's acting half of the movie. She's not like who she is in the other movies, like confident. She's just like, hello, I'm the...
Yeah. Before, in that scene I played, she looks at a fork and Brad Dourif says fork and she says fuck. And I'm like, where do you get fuck from fork? But whatever. She originally declined to do this movie, but when they asked her why she did it, she said they basically drove a dump truck full of money to my house.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, at least she was honest. She's very, very weird in this film. Then there's a part where they have all the clones of her in the room and she burns them. Yeah, and apparently her blood is made of acid,
it gets weird.
Yeah, Ron Perlman wants to bang her. I don't know. Ron Perlman's the man, though. I love Ron Perlman.
Yes.
But if you haven't seen this one, check it out. It's definitely not the worst Alien film. Not the best, but I mean, what would be? I guess the Alien versus Predator films are pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, those are like those are borderline unwatchable at times, but they're also, the first one I would say is better than Requiem.
Mm-hmm.
But still not as, this is better than those movies. So this movie could probably be the fourth best. I mean, if you really want 1, 2, 3, 4, then those. I like Prometheus and Alien Covenant more than I like this movie. So I would put those ahead of that. But
is she coming back for the new reinstallment?
I haven't finished up the television show. I don't know if she's going to be in something of that. Who knows these days? They want to get these people for the for the cash. I'm sure they're going to drive 2 dump trucks up to her house full of dough.
Yeah, she's in the Avatar films that are apparently happening all the way up to 2031.
Isn't one coming out this Christmas too? You didn't mention that one. You wanted.
I didn't see the second one. I couldn't get through the second one.
I didn't see the second one.
Fire and Ash, then 4 and 5. I love James Cameron. I just can't get into the Avatar films. I don't know. It's just me.
I mean, the first one, I liked going to the movie theater and having that experience. But then when I went home and tried to watch it after it came out on DVD, I was like, I can't watch this. This isn't what I want to watch. And I just haven't really watched anything since then. I mean, it was just cool to wear your glasses at the theater and see it in that kind of theater. But it's candy. It's not It's kind of hollow to me, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I thought the first one was good, visually pleasing. And after I saw it in theater in the 3D, I never saw it after that. I tried to watch it again, and I just had no interest.
Can you imagine how many movies he's
To,
left on the table just because he wants to do
Mhm.
Avatar movies? But
Yeah, he should do another Terminator
yeah, there you go.
with John Connor. But some little Brad Dourif little facts here. He's acted in 47 theatrical release films. He's acted in 175 productions. He's has a career over 5 decades long. His box office gross of his films is 1.9 billion. This includes also his big roles in as Wormtongue in Lord of the Rings, as well as a Chucky series. So he's been in some pretty big series. He was in Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, and then he was in the third one, but they cut his scene out. But you can watch it in the extended clip. Dourif's debut as Billy Bibbit in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in 1975 earned him major acclaim. He won a Golden Globe and a Best Supporting Actor from BAFTA, and was also nominated for Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Later, he received a Primetime nomination for his role in HBO's Deadwood. He plays a doctor in that series and in the film. He's awesome in it with Calamity Jane. I really like him in that film, that series. Good. Yeah, Wormtongue was his name. Jack. Great actor. Does not get into his flowers. We figured we'd give him some cool flowers tonight. As Tony said, he acted in the Chucky series with his daughter, which I think is kind of cool to be able to do that with your daughter. Brad Dourif, man, he's 75 years old, Tone. I didn't know he was that old. Older guy, older gentleman. Again, his daughter Fiona starred in the Chucky films and was later in the TV series with him. He was an acting teacher for a little bit, Tony. Like, would you imagine him being your acting teacher?
I would sign up for all of his classes. Can you imagine him yelling, sweaty in your face?
Tony, more intense. And that's why I picked this overlay, because it's totally the epitome of me thinking of him teaching.
Just yelling at you like,
yeah, get your asses ready. Yeah, Brad Dourif, man, he is the man. 75 years young. Hopefully he's around for a long time to make some great other films, if not use his awesome voice and voiceover work. One of my favorite character actors.
What I thought was really cool looking up, I was always, because I'm like, oh, let's see if is Brad Dourif. I put, is Brad Dourif a musician? I put that in to see, because I was like, is he a musician? I don't know. And it popped up. He was in a Toto music video in 1984 called "Stranger in Town," which is a ridiculous music video. If you get a chance to check it out.
Well, I'll watch that after the show. Stranger in Town. Yeah. Brad Dourif, man, using everything. But with that, we're gonna close up this episode of Brad Dourif, or this portion of Brad Dourif.
Going away.
When we come, Tony comes back, he will get into his Sugar Baggies soundtrack
Am I back?
of the week. Yes, you are back now, sir.
All right, there you go. There we go.
Tony's internet is the culprit of our show.
It is.
Mine is also, but only happens before the show. It usually goes out. So we both have internet problems. So screw you, Xfinity. But any final thoughts on Brad Dourif, Tone?
No. We covered all his movies. I'm sure one day we can do a deep dive on One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, because that's probably, you would say, is one of his best movies. Just really cool to start off that way, and then go into all these horror genres and Mississippi Burning and so many other awesome movies. So just a great actor.
Yeah, just a great actor. So before we get to the Sugar Baggy soundtrack pick of the week, I just want to thank everybody for watching and listening and messaging us and supporting us over at Statistic Penguin Studios. Tone, let everybody know what's going on the hookup.
We'll be back this weekend sometime, and we will be digging into some more cool holiday classics for the Halloween season, for your Halloween party planning, whatever it just happens to be. but definitely going to talk some really good music, concerts, and other awesome stuff. So please tune in. And also go back and check out yesterday's James Bond Moonraker episode. We talked about that, and we also talked about how cool it was when Brad Dourif got the crap beat out of him by Gene Hackman in Mississippi Burning. So go back and check that out. And also check out your amazing Frame to Frame with Cotton on the Toxic Avenger. I love when you do videos and I don't know much about the movies because I learn so much. Even when I don't, I know the movies I learn, but learn a lot. And it's cool to check that out too.
Yeah, thank you, my man. Joey says try AT&T Fiber if it's in your area. So we do have AT&T. Tell him, Joey, but since I live in a townhouse, I only can get up to 40 megabytes download, and I can't switch to it because of work. I'm sure it's more reliable. There's supposedly Comcast has laid fiber wire close by us and the other parts of Tinley. Maybe they might be doing it now. Tone, do you have AT&T Fiber by you?
It's ironic that Joey should bring this up because we got a sign on our door this week that they were laying AT&T fiber right down the street. So if he's saying it's better, maybe that's something we're going to look into.
Yeah, check it out. But for me, I did do the episode with the great Cotton, aka Cubes fan. We did the Toxic Avenger 2023 versus the 1984 film. That was fun. I've been doing the 31 Days of Horror. I just dropped day 23 yesterday, which is a John Carpenter film featuring two of our favorites from the Big Trouble in Little China, Victor Wong and Dennis Dunn. The film is called The Prince of Darkness, and also has Donald Pleasance in it from the Halloween series. Directed by John Carpenter. Great film that is very, very underrated. It also has an appearance by Alex Cooper in there, which is always cracked me up when I watched it. Tonight, I'm going to drop a very ridiculous film that not a lot of people know about, but when you hear the name of it, you're going to be like, what? But it's going to have some little humor in this one. I always do one of these every year, so look out for that.
Rawhead Rex?
Oh. No, Rawhead Rex? No, I actually like Rawhead Rex. Even though his makeup was horrible. And I always like think too, like always in that film, not always, but in that film, it really got me like exposed to English people saying bloody. I'm like, because it says it a lot. I'm like, bloody hell, bloody pig. And I'm like, why did they say bloody? And somebody's like, oh, it's our version of saying effing. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, but yeah, check out that. Again, thanks for your support. We appreciate all your support, all your comments, all that stuff. And check out all of Tony's stuff, as well as Getting Drafting here. It's going to come back the 29th with, I believe, Baloney and Herb. They're going to be doing, what was it, Chicago Athletes?
That's what I thought he said.
Yeah, Chicago Athletes, I believe. They're going to be doing a draft, though. So check that out. Tone, let's get into the Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week before we get out of here.
The Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week.
We are going to go back to Rob Zombie's Halloween film to talk about some of the music that was in this movie. And they're all older tracks from the 1970s. But there are some really awesome songs. And the first one I'm really going to highlight here tonight is one of my favorite Kiss songs, God of Thunder. This song is amazing with the guitar. Rest in peace, Ace Frehley. I remember as a 8-year-old dressing up as the Star Child for Halloween. I think I was like 13. 8 was a little young because I wasn't listening to Kiss at 8. But great soundtrack. Don't Fear the Reaper. Don't Fear the Reaper is a song that I could listen to a lot, and it never gets old to me. Misfits are on there. A track from the Dazed and Confused soundtrack, Love Hurts, is on there. But I think this is the best part of the whole movie is the soundtrack. That's probably where I will give this movie a pretty good high-flying standard, because they were trying to go for a 70s theme in some of this music, and they really pulled it off with the songs that they picked.
Yeah, God of Thunder, I'll always remember from WCW when they had the Kiss wrestler. They performed that song, and the Kiss wrestler, I think, who was like Bryan Adams or Crush.
Yeah, yeah.
He was a Kiss wrestler, and he appeared, and he came out to God of Thunder.
That was when WCW was
kind of going down the drain. But great music on this. You got Don't Fear the Reaper on this. Baby I Love the Way by Peter Frampton's in this soundtrack. I think there's the Halloween's done by like the Misfits, right?
Yeah, Halloween 2 that's on the soundtrack by the Misfits. It's really, what I like is that the movie, because he was going for like a 70s type of vibe, he kept the music to what he was trying to convey, which is always good in a soundtrack, and especially a horror soundtrack like this one.
Joey says it had to be a Kevin Sullivan creation. I don't know, man. Like, it was just probably them trying to get something going.
When they went and moved that whole background, like when they changed to that stupid logo that looked like a globe with the W, and that was when it was like, this is getting bad.
I was wrong. The guy who played Demon was Dale Torberg,
who worked for the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah,
he was their strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah, until 2022.
Yump, I love you so much. I didn't want to correct you, but I'm glad that you brought it up. So thank you.
Yeah, ridiculous stuff there.
Because my brother-in-law, we'd always be sitting in the stands, and he's like, "You know who Dale Torborg is?" And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "He's the guy who was the Demon." And I was like, "No, he wasn't." And he's like, "Yeah, he was." And I looked it up on my phone. I'm like, "No shit."
Also getting hurt walking through that stupid logo, Joey says.
Oh yeah.
Brian Adams was supposed to be the original.
He was.
Guy.
You're not
okay,
wrong about that either.
That's where I got it wrong. Yeah, ridiculous stuff. What a time to be alive when the Kiss Demon came out to wrestle. Yeah, great soundtrack. It's such a great movie. You know, another thing too, the kid in the film always freaked me out. Like, not in a bad way. Like, he wasn't scary. He was just strange.
Well, that's the movie.
And I'm not saying strange as a character. He was just like, the actor was
a strange character.
Yeah, a strange guy. Like I don't know. This is me. He looked like a kid. He reminded me of like one of the Hanson guys. That's who he reminds me of.
You pumped for the new Stranger Things season?
To be honest with you, it's been like so long. I'm not even careless about it. I'm at and then they're gonna split it up into 2 parts.
No, it's like 5 parts.
Oh,
you mean like 2? You mean like it's 5, like hour and a half episodes?
Yeah, it's 5 episodes, and then they're gonna split it up into another 5.
Oh, is that what they're doing?
Yeah, or 4 and 4 or some shit. I don't know. I'm like, how much longer do you want to like, drag this out, man?
Money talk.
All I know is that Eddie better come back. That's all I know. Come back. Yeah, Eddie better come back. That's all I know. And Dustin better live. But besides that, yeah, man, I don't know. Now you threw me off my thing with the Stranger Things thing. I was thinking about the wrestler. Now I'm thinking about the Stranger Things. Well, that's our show, people. It was a short one today, and only an hour and about 40 minutes. So sorry, Cotton. Shout out to everybody that listens. Also to mi hermanos y mi hermanas. Stay strong with what's going on. You have our full support. And stay safe, Chicago. And with that, Tone, any closing words before we go?
Everyone out there, have a great weekend. Have a safe Halloween. Watch some horror movies, and we'll see you on the other side.
Yep, we'll be back in 2 weeks, guys. Take it easy, and adios.
Thanks for listening to the At The Show podcast, a Sadistic Penguin Studios production.
Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?